Peace. About to bring you on right now. Peace, 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 peace.
Well,
How we doing, brother?
bless. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing black-tastic, king-tastic, all that good stuff.
That's right.
Yes, sir. So, it's good to have you on here, man.
Thank
I
you.
got to meet you in person at the Return to Citizen event, which was a great interview. It was short though, because you were plotting on that fish.
I told somebody about that. I just told somebody about that. I said, I hope this brother don't keep me long today because I'm trying to get that lunch after church, right? I said he held me up from the fish sandwich.
Yeah, I said that brother was plotting to get to that fish, man. For sure. So I see you out doing some great things, right? And I just want to say, man, I want to salute you, for the great work that you're doing inside of the prisons, the books that you writing. And I really wanted to bring you on this live to shine a light on the book that you're writing, right?
Okay.
And for the people, let the people know the name of the book, what the book
Okay.
is about, you
All
know?
right. All right. Thank you. Well, the name of the book is Lighting the Way, Hidden Treasures. And it's on Amazon Kindle, or you can get the Nook book from Barnes and Noble. Also, I have paperback editions on me. If people DM me and want a copy, I'll either mail it, deliver it. I like to sign each book to show my gratitude. And in reference to what you were saying about going inside the jails and prisons and the work that I've been doing in the community, it's all of God and none of me, because I know if left to my own vices, I wouldn't even be able to live, breathe, and do any of those things. I would be reduced to an animalistic level, which for many years I lived like that. And so I thank God for the opportunity to be here and to be talking to you right now, and for the work He's put in my heart to do to help those who suffer with mental health, pressures of life, returning citizens, any struggle that anyone goes through, which again goes back to my book, Lighting the Way, Hidden Treasures. I talk about that hidden treasure that life creates because of the pressures that we go through. Pressure creates diamonds. And I believe that everybody who has gone through something, no matter what it is, has a jewel, a treasure inside from what they got out of it, how they came out of it. And it's not meant just for them to keep and continue on, because no one lights a light and covers it up, right? You put it in the house so everybody can see. That's the same thing with us, that we have gone through things and we come out of them. It's for the other person. And so in doing that, the book talks about peer support and the importance of the therapeutic value of one person who has been through something. That value is without parallel. Meaning, I can really say, they say be empathetic, but to say I understand what you're going through and really mean it, because I've walked down that path or a similar one. The value of that is it's incomprehensible, really, because the only way you can go know it is to go through it. So I mean, it's a beautiful thing that we share, and I just try to highlight it and bring it out. But especially in my community, in the Black community, where we have stigmatized. We talk about ending stigma in the counseling profession, right? But a lot of times we're referring to the professional. ending the stigma. Like, don't judge people that have repeated relapse or that or stay in a mental health condition that is not conducive to their lifestyle, right? But what about our own people? What about ending the stigma of the demeaning words that we place on our own people who are suffering from addiction and mental health? Words like crackhead, fiend, and these people are suffering and we want them to come out of it, but yet we call them demeaning names and say, no, tell about it, talk about it, get well, get better. No, we don't want any of that. We keep beating down our own people. It's like kicking somebody when they're down. Let's change the language. Let's change the language to, instead of those derogatory words, let's change them to that person has a disorder. They, something that will make them, help them, not make them, because you can't make anybody do anything. Well, I know that because my mama tried for years, right? But it can help them. It can give them an atmosphere. We need an environment conducive to growth and to development and to recovery and to healing. And that comes with love and compassion and empathy and all of these things. It's not just one thing. We have so many things going wrong right now in our community that we need a lot of good things in order to combat that, in order to change the narrative, as we would say, right? Because drastic times calls for drastic measures. We can't expect to say we're going to change our communities, the violence in the community, the addiction, the issues, the single parents, the everything that right now plagues our community. It's going to take all of us. It's not going to be one answer that's going to fix it. And so, like I said, drastic times calls for drastic measures. We need to come together and do something different to change the narrative. And then my book is only spotlighting one part of that, the peer support part, where they call them, and I heard this at a round table with the soon to be mayor of Newport News, called credible messengers, right? People who can say, I understand what it's like, to be in a certain situation, especially coming from underserved communities, which is where I did my research earlier this year on children exposed to violence in underserved communities. And we're talking about Baltimore, West Baltimore, right? How these elementary school children pick up certain behaviors and their coping skills because they're high anxiety, right? Their fight or flight is on high, and it changes them, and it creates a process addiction, a lifestyle addiction, becoming desensitized to the violence, finding a way to cope and saying, you know what, I'll get a gun or I'll pick up a pack, not just because everybody's doing it, but because this is the thing. These are the things that have, plagued my life. Like, these are the things that have made me cope in a way that is not conducive to what society deems a good, healthy growth and development. So these children in West Baltimore, Baltimore was one of the first school districts to implement the restorative practices program. Restorative practices brought life coaches into the elementary school to help the kids deal with the trauma. They did that back in about 2018. So hats off to Baltimore City Schools for doing that. And I believe Hampton is doing that. Don't quote me on saying it, but I believe that Dr. Richard Mason, head of the school board in Hampton, is pulling some credible messages in there to help these children either, feel like there's someone in the school system who can relate to them so that they can talk about it, so they'll feel more comfortable about talking about their problem, which is another thing my book highlights. So it talks about the disorder and the professional. And like I said, ending the stigma just isn't placed on the professional to say, you all need to stop looking at us and judging and naming, but our own people, my own disorder, people who are going through it can't put all the blame on the professional, right? Because there were times when I was, not truthful, in denial, things like that, manipulative, trying to get what I wanted out of that situation instead of trying to get better, So there's so many pieces to it, and I'm pushing it all out there, and it's not because I want that lunch, but I just, it's never enough time. It's never enough information. I don't have it all. I don't have all the answers, but it takes all of us. And I'm starting to see some of those pieces come together. And like I said, hats off to those in the school system, to the elected officials, in every city that are realizing that it's going to take more than the norm or what we have done in the past, because it's gotten worse. And so, in order to make a change, like I said, it's going to take some drastic measures.
Mm, mm. So, what I wanted to ask you, right, now you being a returning citizen, right?
Yeah.
How were you able to get connections to go back into the prisons or into the system to speak? That was something that's like it's very. I'm curious about that.
Well, I know one, and we're actually offered. I'm part of the McShin Foundation, right, in Richmond, substance use treatment program. They have an intensive program, and they have supportive housing. One of the key components why the McShin Foundation is so successful in the country with their substance use program is because they implement peer support, right? All of the staff, which I am now a staff member, were once participants in the program. And in doing that, not only do you empower the individual and make them feel good, but you also shed light and hope onto the person that's just coming into the program, right? It's all about the hope shot. Like people, I was doing referrals for a mental health agency up here in Richmond, and I was seeing hundreds of people every day trying to get them into an intensive outpatient program for substance use. I'm talking about I was on Chamberlain, I was everywhere, South Side, wherever there were people in need, that's where I was, right? And people were like, you see hundreds of people every day, yet you haven't signed up but 18 people for the program. And they said, what is it that keeps them from coming into treatment? And I said, it's the hope shot. I said, if we don't offer something to them to take away the pain and what they're trying to cover up, pain they're trying to cover up, why would I come out of it? Like, where's the hope at it? Where's the hope shot? I'm out here on the street. I'm homeless. I don't have anything. I don't even have a cell phone, right? And I'm living under bridges, alley. Those are the places I would go to, right, to offer a place to stay, food, hope, right? But a lot of times, if the hope isn't instilled, I don't, you know, for my own self, I don't want to leave what's making me self-medicate and not have to deal with the realities of life if I don't feel like it's going to get better. And that's why I said ending the stigma in our own community and speaking life into people instead of speaking those demeaning words, those derogatory names that we put on people suffering with addiction and mental health. We need to start doing that, and we need to push that. We need to push more love. Like I said, I can't stress it enough. The things have become drastic, and we're losing children. We're losing a battle that we shouldn't have to fight. We shouldn't be fighting with each other. I hate to see that in my community, but yeah.
So going into the when you go speak inside of the jails and the prisons, is the main topic about addiction, or do you have any other topics that you touch on as well?
Well, it depends on what I'm going into the jail setting for. Like when I went into the juvenile detention center, a lot of times those young men weren't in there for drugs. They were in there, juvenile lifers for violent crimes or whatever. I would go in as a hope shot for the that change can happen, to give that hope shot. Look at me, you know what not to do, but also that if you stay focused and stay persistent and humble yourself, you can got your higher power. Because a lot of people, we can't put religion on them. So I speak about higher power and spirituality, having a relationship with something and someone outside of yourself to help pull you out of what you're currently in. Because we get ourselves in this mess, but we got to find a way to come out, and a lot of times that's more than what we have inside. And I talk about that in my book too, in the last part, which talks about the hidden treasures. Like, I had to have that spiritual connection in order for that life to come out, in order for that shine to come out. I had to decrease so that he may increase, and so that that love could be spread. So going into the prisons on that aspect, yes, it's different. But going in for the substance use, to the heart program where I went, that was last week or the week before, for the substance use program, speaking to the men and women. That was, that's my life, and that's what I went in to do, to share the hope shot with those individuals, letting them know that the process they're in, to trust the process. Just like right now, I have to trust the process. Everything I had that I lost, I can't get it back right away, right? I have to, trust the process and be patient. So I speak about patience, trusting the process, that spiritual relationship, and trying to find your way. It's different for everybody, and that's another reason I wrote the book. It was to help the professional world understand that you can't put people with mental health disorders and substance use disorders in a box. You can't say this theory is going to fix you, or do this and put it on a whole mass of people and think that it's going to work. That's why I advocate for the person-centered theory. In the person-centered theory, you meet the person where they are, and I believe that's the best way to go. We can't put people in boxes, and say, okay, this is going to work, because everybody's been comes from different socioeconomic backgrounds. You have people that have different trauma history and triggers for that trauma, different substance use disorder triggers that trigger that, that disorder. So everybody has to find what works best for them. And I believe person-centered theory and DBT, which is dialectical behavioral therapy, is the best treatment for it, because they used to use CBT, which is cognitive behavioral therapy, but the DBT actually is contextualized to the person. It's almost a person-centered type of behavioral therapy, where it tries to figure out what makes me think like this, what results have I gotten from that, and so I can have a different outcome. CBT will put you in a box and say, if you don't think like this and act like this, then your results are going to be this, right? DBT says, based on you, who your parents were, where you grew up, what happened to you as a child, what happened to you growing up, all of it. It takes into consideration everything about your life, the whole person, right? And tries to get an answer to why they think and feel the way they do, so that the thinking and the feelings can change the behavior, which will change the outcome. I love
Mm. So DBT is more based on the environment
it. And the person. It
and the
takes into
okay.
consideration everything about it, not just the environment. It is very helpful. Actually, the Navy started using it first for people who were coming back with PTSD.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. And then go deeper into CBT again.
CBT was the first form of behavioral therapy, and it was developed by a white man in the 70s, right? And he said, if you don't think and act like based on these things, which I believe will give you a recovery or wellness from your mental health or whatever, then you're not going to make it. And that didn't work because and this was made in the 70s, right? Everybody doesn't think like a white man from the 70s. So it was damaging to people. People were like, well, I'll never think like that, because I didn't come up in middle class America in 1970 as a white man. And that's what CBT is based on. Everything that he thought was right and exact about how to get better. DBT, like I said, is so much different, because Marlon, born in 1970 from Newport News, this will be contextualized. This will center around everything that he dealt with in his life, his family, his parents, how he was raised, everything. DBT is really helping save lives.
Mm. You
And
just told
and
me
the old,
something.
and the old prison programs used to use CBT, which is why even after doing 23 total years in prison, a lot of those jail prison programs, CBT, I came out, I didn't get anything, Matter of fact, I had a lot of disciplinary action while I was in those programs, because I was like, I couldn't fit in. I couldn't fit in that man's head. I had my own thinking. I had my own problems. He hadn't gone through what I had gone through, right? And so I never adjusted to those cognitive behavioral therapy programs for almost, 30 years, 3 decades of jails and institutions and punitive type criminal justice court programs were all based around CBT. And as we can see from our community and the statistics, a lot of those didn't work. And that's why we had remember the revolving door, the recidivism.
Oh man, we gotta get the brother back on. That was deep. That was getting deep right there. We gotta get him back up in here. That was deep right there. Let's see if this brother get back up in here. DBT. Oh man. I just sent the live back out for the brother to get back up in here.
My,
All
I
right.
don't know.
Hey,
My bad, brother. I don't know what button I hit, but
hey, look, you was get. Hey, it was getting deep, man. It was getting deep. Let's get back to that. It was getting deep. I said I ain't going nowhere. I gotta get this brother back here for
I
sure.
appreciate you. I appreciate you for letting me share what my experience has been. And that again goes back to my book and peer support. It's all about sharing experience, strength, and hope. There's no right or wrong answer. And when we share, we lessen the pain, we lessen the hurt. They say in the rooms where I go, they say sharing is caring, right? And so how can we, I would like to see, instead of, you know, those small rooms of sharing is caring, again, I go back to my community. Why can't we do that there? But like I said, we have to create an atmosphere of healing, an atmosphere of safety. I talk to a lot of people, they don't feel safe in their community. They don't have that hope shot, and we could change the narrative. But it's going to take all of us, and people like you. You know what? You're giving hats off to me. Hats off to you for spreading that message of hope and love and changing the narrative, so that we don't eradicate ourselves. So that we don't, I call it a genocide of our own self. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
No problem, brother. I want you to finish going when you was talking about the revolving door. Think that's
Oh
what we
yeah.
cut off at? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that happened, and like I said, my thing was 23 years, but I did life on the installment plan, 5, 4, 5, just could never stay out. And I was always receiving that CBT treatment. And no, it takes more than treatment, but that would have been a big part of me getting the help I need, because when I finally experienced the DBT from 2018 to 2020, during my last 2 years, guess what? I haven't been back. I've been close. I've still had some behaviors, but that therapy that I received is the reason that God put that in my life, so I could continue to flourish and continue in my recovery journey. And recovery is possible. And so that's the hope shot I give in my book, and when I go talk to people in the jails and the jail programs, so that they can say, like when I went into the jail the other week and I said, look, if I did that 23 years, missed out on family events, my mother's time with my children, if I did all of that just so you don't have to come back when you get out of this program, it was worth it. And when I look at them in their face and tell them the loss of my life so that you can learn from it, so you don't, makes it all worth it. Like, don't let me have lost all those years for nothing. And they see the sincerity in my heart. Like, I don't want to see anybody else suffer like I did. And so that's why I push so hard to push the narrative to change.
So at this moment in time, what what motivates Brother Marlon? What motivates you? What is pushing you and driving you to give out all this knowledge, give out all this game, to actually do the research, right? To actually identify the problem and now actually working on solving it. Like what drives you to do that?
Man, nothing but God. What? Brother, to bring me through what I've been through and where I was, for me not to, I would be doing a disservice to myself and injustice to God, who said, I am going to reach down into the mud and pull you out. And so as I pull you out, you don't think I'm trying to reach down and grab everybody to come with me up. I want to see us all win. Like I'm trying to pull everybody up. Like, because I know what it's like down there. It's sad, it's lonely, it's demeaning. Like I said earlier in the interview, animalistic, bro. And without baths, looking on the ground for food. I'm talking an animal, right? And for God to pull me up out of that, no, I don't want to see anybody else stay down there, right? That's my inspiration. That's why I do what I do, and I'm gonna do it even harder. And every opportunity He gives me to say, I pulled you out so that you can reach back or reach down to try and help bring someone else up, I'm gonna do
Mm, mm.
it. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that's deep, man. That's deep. That's deep. That is a big motivator, big factor. Like the way that you said that you was living, you know what I'm saying? That animalistic way, like nobody wants to live like that. You
No,
know, nobody wants
no,
to live
no.
like that.
Nobody wants to unless they don't know anything better, or don't
Mm,
want anything better. You can say no, nobody wants to, but I did. I really did, because I felt like that was the only way for me. I didn't know of anything else outside of I'm a self-sabotage, I'm going to end up on drugs, or either I'm going to go to jail, or I'm going to stay on the street and live like an animal for 30 years, right? And that's because
mm,
even my own family members at times were like, yeah, that is where he belongs. That's what they would speak over me. Or he'll go back, or he'll mess up, or he'll be in the street. Those were the words I was hearing. And a lot of times I needed their validation, which I shouldn't have. So when my higher power pulled me out of that, and I said I got to reach down and show others, that's why the Hidden Treasures book came out, because I want every addict, I want every person dealing with mental health, I want every returning citizen that's ever been locked up to say, you know what, I don't need anybody else but my higher power and what He's instilled inside of me to make it in this world, without living like an animal, without going back to jail, or without continually relapsing from mental health. Yep,
mm.
that's what I'm
So,
here for.
yes, sir. And you keep on doing the work, and you not just, that's what I salute you on, that you're not just talking about it. It's not just for Facebook and Instagram, or you know what I'm saying? You really out there putting in the work. You're just actually showing your life through these platforms. So I really do salute you on that. And it's somebody who actually walked that walk and actually lived that life. And now you here to let them know I came through by the grace of God.
Amen.
Right? You know, so I totally salute you. So another thing I wanted to ask you about, right? I see you doing the book signing. So is this like a tour? Is it gonna be national, just on the East
Um,
Coast?
this one was my first annual book signing to benefit the children of CHKD. So watch for the post tomorrow. I'm
Okay.
going down to the children's hospital tonight. Like I got to get ready to get off the phone, get off the interview, because I'm going down to Norfolk to the children's hospital, which houses kids who are dealing with any type of illness. But they built a new mental health hospital wing with a school in it, right? Read my post tomorrow. It's after 9 a.m. I'm posting something about this mental health hospital, and I got to get down here. But that's what this book signing was for. I wanted to take the children and the hospital and staff a little something for the holidays, to let them know that I appreciate them building, not just saying our children are sick, but that they have mental health issues too, and giving them somewhere where they can, recover and get healthy. Little children, man, right? Like that's what this book signing was about. But I'll be doing another one at the McShin Foundation on the day after Thanksgiving. That one will highlight recovery during the holidays, because it's an emotional time, and it's a seasonal trigger for a lot of people. It was for me. So I'll be there at the McShin Foundation, 2300 Dumbarton, for 2 hours on Black Friday. Be selling the book, and then I'll also do a segment on my recovery journey during the holidays and what that looks like, and try to inspire hope into people who are feeling depressed. A lot of people have lost loved ones and don't have them to celebrate, which, the holidays were a monumental time in a lot of family settings. So come out, come out if you can to the McShin Foundation on Black Friday.
All right. So how long you been clean, brother?
Right now, we're looking at a year coming up.
Okay. Yes, sir. Congratulations, man. Nothing wrong. Congratulations.
Everyone should know their clean date, but I look at everything as a relapse, and so even alcohol, anything. And then remember, I'm not just talking about clean from drugs and alcohol. I'm talking about mental health clean too, because that's a relapse too. When people get committed and stuff like that, which I have been. So jails, hospitals, institutions, I've been on them all. But since I've been at the McShin Foundation, my life has been totally changed. No mental health, no depression, no drugs, no anything.
Congrats, bro. Congrats, man.
Yeah.
Real talk. Congrats. One more question, because I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
How do you go through the process of putting a book signing together? Like what's the process of that? The steps.
Now that I've done other events before. Like if you look, you'll see I had partnered with Planet Fitness at one time doing chemo bag drives and toy drives for the community. It's just about reaching out to people, networking, and saying I have a cause that I hold dear to my heart, and I want to do something to help. And either they'll give you suggestions, or you look on certain pages of nonprofits that are doing work. That's what I did. I did my study. Like you said, I do the study, I do the research, I watch what other people do who have had successful events, and I say, I want to do that for what I believe needs that extra love, motivation, hope, shot, encouragement, whatever. That's what I did. Now, I would suggest if anybody else is looking to do something, and as a matter of fact, that's a chapter in the end of my book called Give Back, in the hidden treasure part. Remember I told you about reaching back down? It might not be specifically with what you have gone through or what you were dealing with, like with me, but I find my cause and I give back, and it takes away from what I had gone through or what I'm dealing with at the moment. Because there's always someone out there who's doing worse off than we are.
All right, so y'all make sure y'all go get this brother book. This was most definitely powerful, positive talk, the ATPC way. You already know. Go get the book. It's on Amazon. And brother, give out your social medias, and then we out.
Baycoat Marlon on Instagram, Marlon Baycoat on Facebook, and Baycoat M71 on Twitter. You can also find me on LinkedIn and TikTok. One of those things. I'm trying to be everywhere so I can do everything that God has purposed for me to do. All right? Thanks.
You got YouTube?
Huh?
You got a YouTube?
No, don't have that
okay.
yet. I'm a little too busy for that one right now, but I'm going to have to get you to teach me how to do that one.
I got you.
All right, big brother.
All right, peace, brother. Remember that you're powerful. Remember that you're awesome, man.
All right, brother. Thank you again for this time.
No problem. Thank you.
All right.
All right, thank y'all for coming in. Thank y'all for watching another ATPC Powerful Positive Talk. Got more interviews coming up. We got some in-persons, some Zooms, all that's coming. Peace.